So I don't think I've ever given a legitimate garden tour before. So I just finished a bunch of work, not nearly as much as I hoped to do. So I thought I'd give a little tour of the garden. I'm always behind on everything I have to do. Something always comes up. I think the last time I was actually on time for doing garden things was maybe 2018. My oldest daughter, Taylor, was born in 2016, so that probably explains a lot. So along the side here are all figs that I grew from cuttings over the winter. They're all in grow bags. So everything I do in here is in grow bags because I have black walnut trees all over the property. So there is one giant black walnut tree. Pan over this way, there's a cedar, and up there's another giant black walnut tree. Now this one has some paper mulberries around the base, and the other one has some cedars around the base. They might provide a little protection from the drip line, getting that juglone poisoning. But everything here is in grow bags. These figs are all in 10-gallon talls, I believe. They have green handles. Everything is on a drip system. So I have lines running. This is version probably 2 of the drip system. I wanted to do version 3 this year, but didn't get around to it yet. So all these figs are varieties that are supposed to be very cold hardy, very easy to root. I didn't want to do anything difficult or crazy my first time trying. This one long one here I'm panning on is a black raspberry, Ohio Treasure. And the reason I have that is black raspberries are resistant to juglones, so that's the chemical the black walnuts give off. So my hope is that I can grow it in the bag for a few years and then transplant it onto the property somewhere. Then over here is a Girardi dwarf mulberry. I got this just this year. The black raspberry is from last year, and it was neglected but still survived somehow. So this Girardi mulberry is from this year. I have an older mulberry on the property that I need to cut down, and this is my replacement for it. I got several white mulberries that grow on the property that are that have been here for decades and decades. These last 2 here are figs that I got from Homestead Gardens. One of them has a bunch of grass growing in it. I got to trim out. These both started very late. They were outside the whole time. They were in my garage over the winter. The last one on the end is a Violet de Bordeaux. This one here is a Celeste. They do need a pretty solid trim. I didn't think the Violet de Bordeaux was even going to survive. It took forever to leaf out, but it's going strong right now. Here we have a ground cherry. These things are quite unique in flavor, a little like a tomato, a little like citrus, a little like pineapple. Sweet, tasty, kids love them. Along a ton of weeds along the side there, but that is some okra. I have 2 varieties of okra. One is a green okra and the other is a red. I'm pretty sure this is the red variety, seeing as how it has the red stem color. Back here is a variety of Chinese eggplant. I can't remember which one, but this is a new one that we haven't done before. I grew a Chinese variety last year that was really successful, and I just absolutely loved it. So thought I'd give this one a go. I only do cherry tomatoes. I just haven't had success with full-size tomatoes. This is a pink striped variety from Baker's Creek. I actually had plans to do 9 different varieties of tomatoes this year, but we had a lot of issues this spring, a lot of personal craziness, and I never ordered the right size pots to get them started indoors, so I had 2 small pots and they dried out and a bunch of them died. So I was left with 2. So yeah, that's a pink variety. This is one of my favorite greens to grow. I can't do brassicas for some reason. They give my stomach a bunch of, disastrous effects. I do have stomach issues to begin with, but this is perpetual spinach, type of chard. It tastes just like spinach. I love it because the leaves are huge. They're very easy to clean. You just pick them from the outside and they just keep coming up from the inside. So they grow all season long. You could eat it just like spinach. It's a non-bitter form of chard. And yeah, just absolutely delicious. I put it in smoothies for my wife when she had her neck surgery. We've done it with an orzo. I put it in. It's really quite tasty. Just like spinach, only that it grows in the heat of summer. The leaves are gigantic and really easy to wash. They're not savoyed or anything, which is a real pain to clean of cabbage worms and whatever. So yeah, this is another kind of cherry tomato. I believe this is a white currant variety from Baker's Creek. We grew this last year and it was prolific and unkillable and very tasty. The tomatoes are very small. Yeah, it's very sprawling in habit, as you can see. I really don't trim the suckers on my cherry tomatoes above maybe about 6 to 8 inches above the ground line there. Again, yeah, that's my other okra, and then that is like a half-dead eggplant over on the side there at the end of this line. And up over there is a nice eggplant, big eggplant. My work in the garden today, I was trying to remove the lower leaves on all of our trellised plants with emphasis on my summer squash varieties. But you can see I didn't quite make it all the way. I got a bunch of them done, but not all of them. So let me start over on this side. These are all Chinese long beans. First time I've ever done this is I've saved the beans from last year. I've actually grown this variety, maybe 4 or 5 years now, and I freaking love them. They are absolutely delicious. Yeah, super tasty, super easy to grow. They're gigantic. They're easy to clean. They're stringless. You just got to pick them before they get hollow. And you got to pick the bean itself. You can't pick the stem because that same stem will form 2 new flowers and they'll just grow in pairs like that. If you can see over here on this guy, on the tips of those, they actually have new flowers. If I can get that to focus, growing just above these 2 beans that are formed. So they'll just continuously form new beans at the tip of that stem. And yeah, they taste kind of like asparagus. They have a very nutty flavor, rich. They don't have that traditional green flavor like you have in a green bean. It just kind of tastes like you're eating grass. You can see I have one summer squash here. This is a new variety I'm trying. I forget which is which, but I'm growing 2 South Korean squash varieties that are round that I got from Kitsawa Seed Company. This is one of those varieties. This one doesn't seem to be going as strong as my other one, but it's got plenty of fruit on it, and I got a bunch you can kind of see my container behind us here, but I do have a bunch, and it's growing more. The next one over here is Tromboncino squash. You can see it's got quite a few. I haven't harvested any off of this yet. These can get really, really, really big and still be super tender and flavorful, very nutty, smooth. Yeah, the texture's great. And then this is one kind of Korean squash that grows a straight squash instead of a round one. It's again just a summer squash. And we've eaten one in a meal, but it was mixed in with things, so I couldn't really tell you what it tastes like yet. Again, I need to trim all this back because it's just a breeding ground for squash bugs. I no longer grow zucchini. And the reason I no longer grow zucchini is because we have really bad vine borer and squash bug issues. And you can tell that there is squash bug damage on these leaves down here, but I get fruit. And I always get fruit, even if the squash bugs are crazy. I'm hoping that in trying to lift them off the ground and cut down the lower leaves and mulch them in, I mean to mulch them in every year, but I always forget. So this will be the first year I've actually done it. And I always know that topsoil becomes crispy even with all